Hello, everyone. It's your girl, Prayerfully, and you're watching God, Sex, and Love. Tonight is a very, very special episode because I have my sister. Yes, my baby sister is joining this lovely platform of the GSL Talk Show, and I hope that you all enjoy this conversation. Stay tuned.
That I'm not the type of girl that goes around and fools around. Think I'm so done with that crazy part of my past. So don't get so old to ask, cause I won't go there. So be aware, yeah. I'm good, but I bet you wish it I would.
Welcome back to God, Sex, and Love. I am here with none other than Miss Nila O'Neal. Hey, girl. How you doing?
Hey, sister.
Listen. This lady, look, I've known her all my life. Excuse me, I've known her all her life, and she's known me
Right,
for the majority of my life.
right.
This is indeed my baby sister, Nila O'Neal. Hey,
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Me,
girl.
us never thought.
And this is
I
our
got
first
you.
time on God, Sex,
Yes,
and Love. So welcome, sis. Welcome to God,
yes,
Sex, and Love.
yes. Thank
The
you.
GSL Talk Show.
Yes,
Listen, I am
I
honored to
love it.
finally have you, sister.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Finally. Happy to be here.
Look, hopefully the first of many.
Right. Many more to come. Many more to come. Definitely.
Yes. It's a long time coming because I know I've been talking to you for a while. Basically since I kicked this whole thing off to be like, hey, so shit, come on over here and stuff. And so at some
Yeah.
point, 2023 was that time, right? Back
Yep.
here.
Expecting the extraordinary. Yep.
Hey, look, I say abundance 2023. That's what I say.
Right.
But speaking of abundance, y'all, I know this lady personally, but obviously, let's start off with this. Tell the people who you are and a little bit about what you have going on.
Ooh, where do I start? So I am Nila O'Neal, native of Butts County, Georgia, Jackson, Georgia. Um, I do a lot of things, from phlebotomy to hair, to instructing, to leading young ladies groups. You name it, I just about do it. I'm jack of all trades. That's the best way to put it.
Yes, indeed. Look, a fellow multipreneur around here. We're going to get into
Very
all
much,
those business endeavors real soon.
very much so. Yeah,
Look, me and you grew up around entrepreneurship. So I think that's all we know at this point. It's
absolutely.
like breathing in some ways, right? It just came naturally, right?
Right. We lived and breathed business, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely. You knew the value of money and you knew the value of hard work. Dedication, definitely, because it was homework, school, church, work in rotation. So yeah, we definitely learned that. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, I'm sure we can go on and on about a lot of different things, but well, first, let's focus on you and your endeavors. So you mentioned that you're
Okay.
into doing hair and then phlebotomy and all this. So, I guess tell us about your journey. Like, what was the process like for you? You graduated high school, and then what was next?
Oh, so graduated high school, Jackson Red Devils, class of 2009. The
Uh-huh.
best class to ever do it, I must say.
Oh, oh.
I know you're a fellow Red Devil, but it's class of '09 to the day I die.
Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. I graduated from high school. In doing so, I also finished a patient care tech class as well. So I actually graduated from it was Griffin Tech at the time. So I actually graduated from Griffin Tech first, and then I graduated from high school. So in doing that, I've always had a love for healthcare, but I've always wanted to do hair. Like growing up around people like Miss Joyce from Griffin, Miss Margaret Dukes from Jackson, my cousin Tanya Webb. Oh my God, these are some Mr. What was his name? He used to do Mama's hair. Oh my God, it's on the tip of my tongue. If I could think of it, it's gonna come back to me. But he was a guy, and watching him do hair, I remember being sassy when I
Raymond?
was, huh?
What's his name? Raymond?
No,
Oh,
I can see his face right now. It's gonna come back to me. But
yeah.
he used to do hair, and I used to be sassy as a little girl. So I used to be like, men don't do women hair; they do men hair. And so,
Mm,
but I would always watch him. So those are some of the stylists that really influenced and shaped me into wanting to do hair.
mm,
Watching those people. So graduated from high school. I actually started school to be a respiratory therapist. You remember that.
mhm,
At the time, I let math punk me. I really did. I do not like math. I can
mm,
write you a paper right quick. I love history, love English, all that kind of stuff. But I allowed math to punk me at the time. So I ended up stopping the I'm going to say phlebotomist. So I actually stopped doing the respiratory therapy, and I end up going to Southeastern Beauty School,
mhm.
SEB. Uh, And
Right.
so it was in Stockbridge at the time. And that was like that was the best time of my life going to cosmetology school. It was great because you were learning, but at the same time, you got a chance to actually deal with clients. Like on Fridays and Saturdays, we could take in actual clients. And I finished that. I did my time. I actually finished a month early. And so, in finishing a month early, I went and sat for my boards immediately. I was like, I'm not going to take a break. I'm not going to breathe. I think they had like a 2 week waiting period at that time. And so I waited those 2 weeks. I went and took the first part, which was my practicum. And then I went the next day and took my written, and I passed both of them. And God was so good that I came at home. I told mom and dad, I was like, hey, y'all, I passed my test, blah, blah, blah. And you know how dad is. He was like, all right, what you doing next? And I was like, I can just do hair at your barbershop. Because at the time he had bought into a barbershop. And he was
Mm,
like, no, ladies need a place to go of their own. So he was like, you need to find a place. So, I mean, not even a week later, same street we ride just about every day when we go to Griffin, had never paid attention to this place. 737 South Hill Street. That's where it all began. So we stopped, we called this lady, her name was Miss April, great real estate agent. We called her. She came the same day. Like she came back in like 30 minutes. Like, so I called her 30 minutes later. She was showing up, opening up the door.
mm,
So just so happened the place was just about to be foreclosed on. And so I called and told dad, I was like, hey, they finna foreclose on this place. She said it's still for sale. They had went down in the pricing, and dad was like, all right, cool. What we need to do. And we was like, we need to go to the bank. We need to see if we can get the place. So long story short, they went on and they secured the place. And then he was like, what you gonna do next? I was like, well, we gotta have, shampoo bowls. I gotta have chairs. I need to have stations. And at the time, myself and some more ladies from cosmetology school, we had all talked about opening up a salon together.
mm,
Unfortunately, that did not happen, but it didn't stop the dream. So
mhm,
we went up to buy right. I picked out all the furniture. Me being me, I wanted it to be nice, but I wanted it to be cost effective because I believe in opening new businesses, but I believe that you have to be smart at the same time. So you don't want to open up a new business with thousands on thousands of dollars of overhead. So
mm,
I went and bought some, picked out some cost effective stuff. And I was like, okay, I was ready to sign my name and, do my little payment plans. And, because in my mind, I was like, okay, they got the place for me. Now it's my job. I need to pay for this stuff. So
mm.
dad was like, you don't need to start no business with with a whole bunch of debt. Write the check. I was like, write the check. What are you talking about? Write the check. And he put his checkbook down. He was like, you on that account? Write the check. And I was like, for all of it? He was like, yeah, pay for it. You don't want to go into a business in debt. And at the time, you got to remember, I was like 20 years old. I was like 19 going on 20 at the time. So I was young at the time. But I was so grateful that my parents believed in the dream. They believed in my skill. They believed in what I could do. And they believed that I could be a good business person even before I was 20. And now at 31, I'm going on year 12. Ain't God good?
Amen.
The 12th
Amen.
of this month, actually, the 12th of January will be year 12. So God is good. God is good. God is good.
Amen. Hey, look,
Yeah,
and that's only the beginning, man. That's
that was only the beginning. That was only the beginning, man. Never would have thought it. I was young opening that place, but it had always been a dream. And just to watch that dream come to fruition, I remember one of my mom's friends, Miss Sent, um, at graduation, church we were going to at the time, Faith Tabernacle, where um, Elder and Pastor Urshery, Daisy and Alfred Urshery was our pastors at the time, and Clark Barber they were our pastors. And when you graduated, you had to speak that next Sunday. And I can just remember, telling the church all the things I wanted to do, all my big plans, all my big goals and dreams. And I never forget my mom's friend, Miss Smith, gave me a card, and I still got that card today. And in the card, she simply said, write the vision and make it plain. And when I got that card, I actually went home that Sunday and I started writing out the things I wanted God to do, writing out the things that I desired, that I wanted to see happen, both in my personal life and with my business. But I was so business driven. Most of my list was business based. So I still stick to that, from 18 years old to the 31-year-old me. I'm still saying, write the vision and make it plain. I'm still saying that.
hey, look, and obviously it's working for you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to ask, like, how faith has played a part in,
Oh, I'm
everything that
sorry.
you got going
Mr.
on.
Doug.
But
His name was Doug. I knew I
Doug,
wasn't going to forget it. Mr. Doug. Yep.
where did I get
Yep.
right
Baby, he
from?
could finger away like nobody business. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm sorry. We back now.
I remember now. Yeah, yeah, Mr. Dougie.
Yep, Mr.
Oh,
Doug.
yeah, I was going to ask though, like, how did, faith play a part in, you know, the moves that you've made thus far? I mean, because again, we just heard the beginning stages. I mean, we still got to get into what's going on now, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, and obviously you already kind of touched on like the faith moves you were making and everything like that. But just tell me your Christ story in a if you can in a summary. I know you like me is all our life, right? But I mean,
Yeah.
like, how have you seen God show up and show out throughout your life in regards to all of this stuff?
Oh man. God, do we got enough time? I can kind of condense it.
Yeah, or
Um,
just something where you
but I
like,
would say that the main thing was that we were brought up, you know, knowing God's word. We were brought up to know that when everything else fails, that you can always go back to God. I think that's the basic. That's the basis of anything. That's why when the Bible tells us to train up a child in the way that they should go, and when they get older, they won't depart from it. Because when we were younger, we really didn't understand. We really didn't grasp why we had to go to YPHA and why we had to go to the first, second, and third service, and why every time you know the summer came up, we had to go to summer vacation Bible school. Baby, we were gonna sing Father Abraham every year. Like we knew that song every year. Like that's what something we was gonna do. But now, as I've gotten older, I've realized that now I know why we had to sing Father Abraham. I know why we had to learn the 23rd Psalms. I know why it was important to tithe and be a giver. Because all of those things allows God to bless you in end. Prayer, fasting, tithing. Prayer, fasting, tithing. Those are the things that are going to get you results. I was just telling some coworkers here the other day, I was like, I think my biggest challenge was to stop praying about a thing, but then try to fix it myself. Because when I'm praying about a thing, and then I'm trying to fix it myself, God sent back like, girl, you gonna let me do my job or you gonna do my job? Because if you gonna do my job, I'm gonna sit back and watch you. Or do you want me to do it? So that has been my biggest challenge because, and I always say this, I always use this analogy, the one I've always heard mom use was, on Jesus' daddy's side, you already know where I'm going with this. So on Jesus' daddy's side, we have faith to believe. We know that he can do exceedingly abundantly above all we can even ask or think, according to the power that worketh within who? Us. But then on his mother's side, she was flesh and blood. She was human. So the human side of us say, I know I trust God to do it, but I still got to pay this. I still got to do that. How am I going to learn this? How am I going to work this out? And we're still trying to figure it out, but we just asked him to work it out.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would say that faith alone has helped me because it has helped me to build my prayer life. It has taught me not to just hear God, but do what he say, because sometimes he'll be talking to us and we'll be like, yeah, something told me not to do that. And all at the same time, it wasn't something. It was Jesus. He was tapping on our shoulder saying, hey girl, I want you to do this. I want you to do that. And we ignore it because it's not the most favorable thing to do in that moment. So we ignore what he told us to do. And then when it all unfolds, we look back and say, he told me to go another way. He told me to do it another way. Had I did it that way, I would have skipped this. So I would say, like, my faith has just been building. It's been building blocks, been building. I've watched myself grow, both spiritually and naturally. He's taken me through some trials that I know old me would have snapped, and new me had to be quiet. And that was like one of the most toughest times in my life, that I had to be quiet, because anybody who know me, I mean, I'm just as nice as I want to be, but if it's time for me to stand up, I'm 10 toes. I'm standing up. And in that moment when I couldn't stand up, I had to say, okay, God, tears and all, tears in my eyes and all. I say, okay, it got to be you. Because if Nala got to do it, it's going to be Nina. It ain't going to be Nala. It ain't going to be who you want me to be now. So you're going to have to help me. But in that, it was so much grace, and it was so much favor, and it was so much humility, because it taught me how to allow him to fix it and not myself. So, yeah,
That's the
faith,
word.
he been working on me. He been
Man,
working on me.
I mean, I see it all the time, sister. You know how I try to always tell you all the time how proud I am of you. And, not
Yeah,
only because of your business endeavors and stuff like that, but you are a mom and everything. I feel like you've been
yeah,
doing that in a beautiful way as well.
yeah,
And, God is good, man. He's doing the work on all of us. And so
absolutely.
I'm excited. I'm excited for everything he's doing. So give us a little update now, because I know you told us about your hair business, but y'all, I don't know
Yeah,
if y'all caught this earlier, but she mentioned that she got. I mean, this lady, look, she got at least 3 businesses on my fingers right now. Now I know we probably got a few more to add. I don't know, but go
yeah.
tell us about them other 2. What's going on? What you got? What you
Well, I opened, so I opened up API, Anchor
doing?
Phlebotomy Institute.
Mm-hmm.
Again, going back to the building, that building has served more purposes than one. So now only do I only not host Diva Style Salon at 737 South Hill Street, Griffin, Georgia. I
Mm-hmm.
now host Anchor Phlebotomy Institute at 737 South Hill Street, Griffin, Georgia. Um, Actually, tomorrow, January the 9th, I will be hosting my 5th class.
Mm-hmm.
God has been so good to me. I started off teaching at Southern Crescent, and that was a wonderful experience. I taught there for almost 2.5 years. I actually opened up their program at the Henry County campus. I taught at the Thomaston campus, the Griffin campus, and the Butts County campus for one semester there. I was their interim director for a little while. And when I ended up resigning from that position, I was sitting at home one day, and I had been talking to a few students that I had taught, and writing up letters of um, um, I keep going blank, Jesus. But I was writing letters for them for their applications and everything, letters of recommendation,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe that teaching just doesn't stop once your students finish your program or your classes. It never ends. Like, once you're their instructor, you're always their instructor. So they felt free to reach out to me for recommendation letters, just for, little things that will help them going into their interviews and stuff like that. And so I was sitting here thinking one day, and I was like, you know what? If you could do that for them, why are you not doing that for yourself? And so I started to work on it little bit by little bit. Every day I would work on it. I would say, I want my lesson plans to look like this. I would want my handbook to look like this. if I had classes, how could I work a full-time job but still give the amount of attention to my program that I would want? So every day I did this. I did this for 2 years. It took me 2 years to, as you would say, cultivate a program. And so I did it. And I started my first class. Um, in my first class, I had 5 young ladies. And God was so good to me because I had an open house and I had been posting about the school and stuff like that. And the day of open house, I actually, matter of fact, right before open house, I had one lady, her name was Montana. Montana met me at Tanger Outlet, y'all, at Tanger Outlet to get signed up for API. She was my very first student, Caucasian lady. She showed up. She filled out the application in the parking lot. She paid her registration fee in the parking lot. Like, God was so good. That was my first person. And then when we did open house, it was so beautiful because it was just, it was a small group of people, but it was family and close friends and people that were interested. I had another young lady that came. Then she told a friend, and that friend came, and they're actually going to RN school. They'll be graduating soon. And I'm so, so proud of them. And so in that class, like I said, I had 5 students, and now I'm at class 5. And God has been so good with that. He's blowing my mind. I take 6 students every 12 weeks, every time I open a class. And I think the smallest class I've had was 3. The class that I'm about to start, I have 4 this time. But I thank God because I still teach those 3, 4, 5, or 6, whatever. I teach those students just like it was 30 students in one class. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to teach one. As Mom used to say when she had her school, come sit before me and let me teach you what others has taught me. And so I take every class as a blessing, and I try to put my best foot forward. I learn from each class. So maybe I didn't do something in the first class that I learned, maybe I needed to add. So now I'm adding on, and each class go higher and higher. Each step go higher and higher. And I'm looking for God to do things bigger and better. So I'm grateful and thankful for that.
Amen. Amen. And listen now, I ain't trying to, like they say, jinx none another, but I'm just letting y'all know facts. I'm just going to say some facts real quick. 100%
Yeah.
pass rate.
Yeah. We have 100% pass rate. That is something to clap it up for. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what I really want your listeners to know is that we are certified through the Georgia Non-Post Secondary Education Program, which means we are certified through the state. So when you come to API, it's the same educational experience that you would get at any kind of technical college, any type of traditional college. It's the same thing. So when you leave us, we make sure that you are 100% prepared to go out into the work field. So you leave with your certificate of completion, your certification, because I want people to understand that before you can graduate from API, well, you can finish. But in order to graduate, you have to have your certification. And the reason why I set it up that way is because to me, it's important to actually get certified and just not take a class. Because sometimes people will take a class, but they'll never go get certified. And so it's good to go ahead and get that certification under your belt. So you get your certificate of completion, your certification. We have your CPR. And we're so thankful to our big cousin, Derek Adams, Mr. Chewy himself. He is a fireman. So he comes in and does a CPR class for our girls every class. And I'm so thankful and appreciative to him because he comes in, he does that class with them, he gets them prepared so they are ready with their CPR. Or if it needs to be renewed, he comes in and he renews it for them. And then Miss E comes in with the Inspirational Outreach Ministries. She comes in and teaches a professional development class. And I'm so thankful for you because you even come through and do a Zoom interview with our students. This prepares them to go to any and all interviews that they end up going on after they finish. And I just got word back from one of my students that's now about to be, she got hired on as a dialysis tech. And they are also training her as well. And one of the main things that she gave me some great feedback on was, not only did she learn what she needed to know in the program, but she said that professional development gave her the tools she needed to walk into her interview fully confident that she could get that job. And that was one of the things that the interviewer told her was a great point with her. She said, your confidence, the way you came in, she did her research on dialysis. We go over different areas that you can work in during class, but she went the extra mile to do her own homework. So I always tell people, like, according to the state, we can't guarantee you jobs, but I do personally take my time out to job hunt just about every day and send out job openings. But it's also your responsibility as a new healthcare member for you to take that extra step when you're going into these interviews to be prepared and to work diligently. Because I'm telling you, going into healthcare, you may feel like, oh, I'm supposed to get the job right off the bat. It doesn't always work that way. You will hear 10 no's before you get the one, but all it takes is one. So you have to be diligent in your work. You can't say, oh, I make more money on this job, so I'm not going to take that job. You got to start somewhere. We all got to crawl before we walk. And so I try to teach that to all the students before they leave, and kind of get them prepared to say, hey, you may not make as much as you make at this type of job, but guess what? Look at the benefits of it. Look at the things that you're learning. Look at the ways you can grow. Look at the other fields that eventually that you can go into from phlebotomy, because with phlebotomy, the opportunities are endless, but you got to be able to work it. You got to work the plan and trust the plan. So yeah, but I'm grateful. I'm grateful for API, baby. That's my other baby. That's my other baby. Absolutely.
Exactly. I'm curious. How did you get into the phlebotomy field? Look, you wanted to work with the blood.
No, actually, I was going to school to do dialysis. As everybody know, mom and daddy did transportation for years. So dialysis has always intrigued me. Just how the blood goes through the dialyzer and how it rinses itself and stuff like that. So I actually had started that program. Well, got halfway through the program, they didn't have any clinical sites for us to go to. So the same lady that taught dialysis tech, she also taught phlebotomy. And she was like, if you can do dialysis, you can do phlebotomy. And I went in there and I was like, I don't know. Let me go ahead and try it. And I got in there, and man, I could about draw blood with my eyes closed. And it's just like the more I did it, the better I got. And I was like, okay, I can see this. I think I'm gonna like it here. And so I started doing it, and I liked it. One of my very first jobs, I actually got on a whim. I was just stopping by. And I tell my students all the time, I was so dedicated to the process that I took my resume, and I never forget it. I typed it out. I had it professionally done, looked over and everything. I had my cover letter. I had my driver's license. I had all my certifications, and I had my portfolio folders, and I did 25 of these. And I hand walked them into offices and said, hey, my name is Nila O'Neal. I'm a phlebotomist. And if you are looking to hire a phlebotomist, I would love to work in your office. I never forget, this lady had a drug testing company right on Taylor Street in Griffin, and it was called Georgia On Site. And I stopped in there and I did that. I gave her my pitch, and the lady was like, you know what? We're doing City of Griffin Wellness. Would you like to come and just draw blood? It was 6 a.m. to like 10. So about Wednesday, it was for a week. It was only for a week. So I knew it was only a week gig, and I was going to be in and out. And I was like, let me still go out here and hand out my resumes. Now, keep in mind, when I was going to these places handing out my resumes, I was business attire. So I was either black dress, blue dress, slacks, black skirt, blazer. Like, I was dressed every day, and I ironed my clothes every day that I went out, and I was decent. I was looking like the job I wanted, not the job I had. And so I didn't go in there dressed like I would dress at my salon. Yeah, at the salon, you might do some leggings and a cute shirt or some jeggings and a cute shirt. But when you're going out for something professional, you have to look the part. And so I went in, and about Wednesday, she said, do you mind staying till close today? And I said, yeah, I don't have anything else to do. So I went on and did it. Then Thursday, you think you can stay till close today? And I said, yeah, fine, I can do that. Friday, you think you can stay about close? We need someone to start filling in. Do you mind coming on Monday? I came Monday, worked. And at the time, they were sending people to do like drug tests for defects and stuff like that. So not only did I do blood work, but I became a drug screener too. Then I went from doing that to doing a lot of her billing for her drug test. Then I went from that, and I guess she was like, this girl must know her stuff, because I started going to her district meetings, actually being her bill collector, basically going in there, playing with the people with kid gloves, but I was collecting that money though. Okay. And so it went from one thing to another, and I will always be grateful for that opportunity, because it showed me the other side of phlebotomy. It showed me that I don't just have to draw blood, but I can do DNA tests. I can do wellness tests. I can do drug screens. I can do hair follicle tests. So you name it, I did it. And so that's kind of where that started, And the more I did it, the more I loved it. And I went from there to a doctor's office, from a doctor's office to teaching, from teaching to LabCorp, where I am now, and from LabCorp to, API. And I'm still at LabCorp. So like I said, God is he's been good. He's been better than good.
Amen.
I have to
Now,
always
listen,
go back to that.
amen. Definitely, for sure. I'm sorry to cut you off, man. I'm just excited, right? She got more to tell y'all, right? Y'all, look, this ain't it. So then not only has this lady opened up a school, right? She's out here teaching people about, I call her the dean. That's what I call her. She's like, I'm more than the dean of school. But
Yeah.
not only does she have the school, but then there's just another notch on this belt of entrepreneurship. So tell us, what's the next move in regards to what you got going on?
Well, out of Anchor Phlebotomy, I now do Anchor Mobile Labs. So it's kind of under the same umbrella. But what I'm moving into is being able to mobilely go out and do blood work. Not only blood work, but I offer COVID tests, the ones that reflux the flu and RSV. As you all know, COVID was a terrible pandemic that we all went through. But, for the most part, it has kind of died down, but it's still here. It's very much still here, along with RSV, along with the flu. So a lot of people don't know, they start coughing and sneezing and hackling, and they thinking, oh, it's just a cold. They don't know whether it's a cold, a flu, the RSV, or COVID. So now I work with a lab called Quantum Labs. Shout out to Mr. Jason. Shout out to Miss Lisa. Shout out to all of them for just giving me an opportunity to work with them and being patient with me. But they gave me the opportunity to do these COVID swabs. And right now, all you're needing is your driver's license and your insurance card. And if you have those things, we come and swab you. It's not all the way in your brain. It's kind of like right there at your nose. So you swab. We mail it off. In 24 and 48 hours, you get a result. So if you're going on cruises, if you're coming back home from a trip and you need proof that you don't have COVID and different things like that, holler at me. I'm able to pull up on you. We can do it in the Walmart parking lot. We can do it at wherever you want to do it at. We can do it. As far as the blood work goes, if you have a lab order, a lab requisition, then what you would do is you would call me and say, hey, Miss Nila, I need my blood work done. You'll then hand me that requisition, that doctor's order. I'll go ahead and take care of your blood. There's a $65 fee for that. That includes processing, shipping, all of that. So you're not really paying me up front for the labs, you're not paying me at all for the labs. You're paying me for my services. And that's to come to you, that's to process your specimen, that's to ship it off. And then again, in 24 to 48 hours, unless it's a specialized test, you will have your results. They can either email them to your doctors or they can mail them out to you, however you see fit. We also offer different plans if you are self-pay patients. And I can have those listed and posted here on GSL along with this recording, but I offer individual labs. So if you're one of those kind of people that wants to keep a check on your A1C and say you are a self-pay patient, you don't have insurance, I offer those for $16. The test itself is $16 plus our fee of $65. So you're still coming out a little on the cheaper side versus to going to the big guys. The big guys are going to charge you a little bit more. But again, those tests take 24 to 48 hours turnaround, and we try to get that stuff back out to you as soon as possible. We love to go to personal care homes. Are you a caretaker for a sickly individual, whether it be mom, dad, grandma, granddaddy, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, your kid, whoever it may be, or it could be you, and you're just a busy individual. Like tonight, we went to church, and my aunt has her own church, and she was like, I work a lot through the week. Are you available to take my blood? And I was like, say less, auntie. So right after church, I came in with my kit, I drew the blood. We're done and done. I send it out in the morning because we do next day air Monday through Friday. And on the weekends, we'll have to hold it. So like if I'm doing blood work on Saturday, I prefer to wait till Sunday, just so we know it goes out first thing Monday morning. But hey, it's done and done. We pull up on you. If you are a single parent, just say you're a workaholic, maybe you can't get off of work. Most of the big places are open either from 7 to 4 or 8 to 4:30. And so most people, if you're like me, you don't get off till 5. So what do? Like, do you take time off of work just for 2 tubes? Hey, or will you pay for the convenience? I'm a concierge service. I come to you. So that's the whole goal of that. I'm now CLIA approved. Yay, which means I can do drug tests, 10-panel drug screens on site. And well, which means like if you say, for instance, you need a drug test. So I can do rapids. I can also do send outs. So quite naturally, rapid tests are going to cost, a little cheaper than the send outs. Because if I have to send it out, we have to send it to the labs. So right now, I'm doing a little bit of everything, even schools, even daycares, especially daycares, because the number of RSV cases is up very high. So say, for instance, you want your kids at your daycares to be tested. What I'll do is first of all, I would bring out all our basically our applications, our basically consent forms. I'll send those out first. So that way, when I come out to do the test, we can swab each child and it's an easy done and done versus trying to have all the parents to come at the same day and sign and all that kind of stuff, because that takes a lot of time. Plus, a lot of parents are in a rush in the morning. So what would be best is you would contact me. You would let me know, hey, Miss O'Neal, we would love for you to come to our school and do our COVID, flu, and RSV swabs. I would say, okay, sure thing. How many employees do you have? How many students do you have? I would send out, I will actually hand deliver each application. Along with that, I would need the parent's driver's license, picture of that, and the insurance card, or you can fill that information out. Print, of course, not cursive, print. And then I'll come out, do those swabs, and we can do those weekly, we can do those monthlies, or bi-weekly, just whatever you like. Same thing for personal care homes, same thing for nursing homes. Just across the board, I'm a concierge service. I'm here to help you. Thinking about the working person.
Hey, listen, I love to hear, y'all know I'm always talking about multiple streams and stuff, and I love to see other people that doing it in their way and things like that. So God is good, man. Again, I'm proud of you, sister. I'm glad that you had the time to come out tonight and share. I mean, I hate to, be on your time, but I know I would love for you to, if you could, I mean, if you can, if you all can imagine, somehow she has some time to volunteer alongside all of these businesses.
Yeah. Yeah.
um, if you could just kind of share just a little brief, however long you want to share, because again, it's up to you. But I know that you're a part of Inspirational Outreach, which is our
Yeah.
mother's organization, and
Yeah.
so tell us a little bit what you do with that, and yeah, we can go with that.
Um, so when it comes to inspirational outreach ministries, yeah, I think everybody knows we kind of grew up with that as well. This has been a lifelong dream of our moms, was really to give back to the community, especially the youth. Basically teaching them the basic skills of life. If it's nothing but cooking, cleaning, making a bed, ironing your clothes, you would be surprised about the simple things that kids don't understand. That we try to reach out and do and give them a voice to actually be heard. So my part in inspirational outreach ministries, I wear a couple of different hats. I'm kind of the voice if we have to go out and sing. We do a lot of home ministries. So we've done services for people that are basically home written. They can't get out to go to church. Church isn't coming to them. So guess what? With inspirational outreach ministries, we come to you, and we don't belong to time either. We have learned that in all you do, move swiftly, do what God asks you to do, and don't try to overdo, if that makes sense. So if it's praying a prayer, if it's singing a song, if it's reading a scripture, if it's simply giving a word, we do that with our home ministries. We feed people that might be sickly, or, a lot of people take missionary work as I'm going to speak at church. It's a missionary day program. It's a fruit of the spirit program. And that's all you want to do. But you ain't gonna help take care of nobody. You won't go clean up nobody's house. You won't take them a meal. You won't do none of that. And let's be honest, the core of missionary work is to help, is to be a help me, not to ask people, what is it something I can do? It's always something you can do. If somebody's going through something, it's always something that you can do to help them, no matter how big, no matter how small. So I'm learning, and because we grew up giving as kids, like we knew the importance of giving at 6, 7, 8 years old. So now giving comes naturally. We don't even think twice if it's something that's coming up. Most of the time, if we're all around each other, we kind of think in the same way. We're like, what you think about doing this? And I'll run across you, I'll run across mom, and we'll all be saying, yeah, I was thinking about doing the same thing. Or maybe they were thinking about doing something a little more. But missionary work it's real work. You being a servant, really. And you got to have a servant's heart. So we do that with inspirational outreach ministries. I also host a club, Sassy Sisters. It's almost like a social group. I love my Sassy Sisters. Matter of fact, this Saturday, January, what is this going to be? The 11th, I think. I think it's going to be the 11th, I believe, or the 14th. I think it might be the 14th. Anyway, it's this Saturday. I know it's this Saturday at 11. We're having hot chocolate and conversation. So in these meetings, we're doing monthly meetings. So what we do is we come together and I try to talk on real topics. I remember one of the first Sassy Sisters meetings I had, I spoke on 10 things that Christian women do wrong. When I first said that topic, everybody kind of frowned. They was like, almost like they were sucking on grapes, like 10 things Christian women do wrong. Oh, this is gonna be juicy. But what I did was I got to the core of sometimes what we think is innocent, someone else can take offense to. And I used, for example, one of the things were, say for instance, you and I and another young lady were all in a group together, and And what I always try to get people to understand is when you're in a group of friends, everybody serves a different purpose. So what you could talk to me about, you probably couldn't talk to Karen about. And what Karen could talk to you about, she probably couldn't talk to me about. So one of the things that I had brought up was that maybe you told me something in confidence, but because we're all friends, I might have got with the rest of the girls and been like, hey, we need to pray for Miracle because X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z going on. And then one of the other sisters reached out to Miracle and she'd be like, how you know about that? I didn't tell nobody, but nah. And then that's where the riffraff comes. And in all actuality, I didn't mean no harm. I thought because we were sisters, because we were all in the same group, that I could share with them what you shared with me. But sometimes whatever you shared was just for me. It wasn't for them. And maybe at a later date, you would have shared it with everybody else. So sometimes we're in church and they're more preaching to us. I'm doing more teaching and speaking. And I'm always very, very particular and meticulous about the way I do it because I always ask God, what does the people need? What do they need to hear? And so all the time, it ain't deep, but sometimes, we need to take it there. We need to really talk about it in order to become better people. Because like I said, sometimes you didn't mean no harm, but because the other person didn't understand, your logic behind it, they took it the wrong way. And as women, I'm just going to say, as women, sometimes we don't discuss things. You just stop talking to a person. And then they walking around like, why she don't talk to me no more? And they truly don't know what happened. And you're thinking, oh, she know what happened. She know I don't talk to her no more. In reality, sis ain't phased because she don't even know why you stopped talking to her. So eventually she just stopped caring. So what we try to do is build healthy relationships, teach communication, and so we can be able to deal better with each other, our family, our kids, our co-workers, just be an all-around better person. And then sometimes we bring in what we call the classy brothers. And on those days, we bring in the men to the group. What I've learned is that some men need a safe space to speak their piece, especially couples. Because I've learned too that some conversations, if you and Jimmy had that conversation at home, that would have been an argument. But if you come to Sassy Sisters and Classy Brothers and you drop what you want to talk about in the hat and we just so happen to pull it, now your wife get to hear or your girlfriend get to hear, how other ladies view it and how other men view it and vice versa. And so what would have been an argument at home is now a conversation with Sassy Sisters and Classy Brothers. Now you can get an understanding because the Bible also tells us in all of your getting, get understanding. And so a lot of times the reason why we come into conflict with people is because we don't get a good understanding, and we can't get an understanding if we don't know how to communicate. So that's what we're all about. I remember my Uncle Larry used to always say, you need wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And that's what we're trying to grow. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. We got to learn. We got to have the wisdom to accept it. Okay. And we got to have some understanding. So that's what we're all about. We got a new class coming up. I know in February, it's Love Month. And we used to do what women want, what men need. This time, this February, we're going to be saying what men need, what women want. And my co-host for that day will be Brother Danny Phillips Jr. He'll be coming to be our male co-host. And I just like him as a person. We all go to we're all under the same Reformation. And he's a young minister as well. And I like it because he's transparent. He's not so holy that he can't have those type of conversations that can go there. He can be transparent with the people. And I think that's going to be great because I see myself as transparent. So I think it's going to be a great turnout in February to get both men and women in the same place. And let's talk. Let's talk about what these men need. Let's talk about what these women want. Because a lot of time women don't say what they want. We just assume you should know. But then, it's just like the old folks say, when you assume, you do what? I'll let y'all finish that. I'll let y'all finish that one. I'll let y'all finish that one. But I love when the men and the women come together, because the men, oh my God, they come out of their shells. They begin to speak what's on their heart. And I feel like sometimes as Black men, they don't have a safe space to speak their piece without judgment. They don't have a safe space to just say how they feel, because they have feelings just like we do. And not taking up for them by no means, not taking up for the ladies by no means. But I think we all need a safe space to really just speak our piece. And when we start doing so, you will watch people become better people. I just feel like sometimes people aren't the way they are because they want to be. It's because they really have no one to talk to. And so that's what we do. We come together, we're going to eat. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have food. Food is always going to be involved. We're going to have food. We're going to eat. We're going to have a good time. We're going to have conversation. I try to do door prizes. We try to make it fun for everybody. So it's just not a thing where you're coming down and you're looking crazy and you got other people like, I don't know about that. No, we're not doing none of that. We here, it's love. It's all love. And we're just here trying to build a stronger community, because also what I've learned is people that won't come to church, they'll come to Sassy Sisters and Classy Brothers because it's a safe space for them. And if we can start there and give the word along while we're giving great advice and just being a listening ear, then guess what? When they are ready for church, now we can smoothly transition them into church. But guess what? Until they come to church, Sassy Sisters and Classy Brothers gonna be their church, because we still getting word. You still gonna get prayer. We still gonna stay in the booth. It's just in a different way. So we have to learn how to reach the people in different ways, because the four walls, everybody that's already in church, you say you already saved. So if you already saved, we're just continuing to come to the building to help build one another up. But what about the ones that are out here and they're still lost? Let's go get them. And then we'll bring them back to the church. Yeah. So I'm excited about it. The word came on on New Year's Eve. It was expect the extraordinary. And I'm telling everybody I have met, because that's one thing that I tell my daughter and my little cousins when I drop them off to school every day. I always tell them, as I drop each one of them off, I call their name and I tell them, you're not ordinary. And they have to tell me back, but extraordinary. And I tell them, now go and have a good day. Be the best you can be. Learn all you can all you learn, because God didn't create us to be ordinary. Ain't nothing about us ordinary. And it's not being prideful or big-chested or boastful. It's in the word. The word tells us that we're not ordinary, but extraordinary. And once we start living on that, we'll be on top of the world, because we're living out his word.
Amen.
So I'm standing on that. We're not ordinary, but extraordinary.
So that's my baby sister, y'all. Hey.
Yeah.
Listen, the wisdom that's been bestowed.
Yeah.
Well, sister, first of all, it seems like we got to collaborate somehow with this Classy Brothers and Sisters and whatnot. I don't know. Y'all might need to come. Let's come on GSL, Maybe you guys y'all can be the girl chat or the co-ed chat or whatever. Y'all let me know. Maybe we can get that on the books. But sister, is there anything else you would like to share? Like, first of all, like, where can people reach you for you and your businesses, things like that? And if there's anything else you want to share at this point, by all means, the floor is open.
Main thing I want to say is just use this year to, more than anything, get closer to God. Let him lead you, let him guide you, and know that nobody is perfect, but we're all a work in process. I want to stress that to people, because I tell people all the time, like, He working on me. God ain't just found me out. He don't know me all my life. So when I slip up, I get up in the morning, I do my 6 a.m. prayer. And one of the main things I always say is creating me a clean heart, renew the right spirit within me, build me up where I'm weak, strengthen me where I'm torn down. That's my prayer every day. Because if we get back to God, all those other things will be added to us. I'm telling you, I have seen God work just on this 4th day of this new year. I mean, he came through. I'm talking about he put a blessing on the floor that I didn't even see coming. But I thank him for that. And after that blessing hit, I could hear in my ear him saying, 2023 is going to be like this all 2023. And again, fast, pray, meditate, fast, pray, meditate, do tithe, those things. Do those things. You got to do what's first. Because see, when you do what's first, then you can hold God to his word. This was one that mom used to always tell us this one. And it was so funny that our little cousin, our big cousin, Mike Cash, say, she used to always quote the, bring all your tithes and offering into the storehouse that they'll be meeting in my house and I'll prove myself. And when she was teaching this to the kids that used to go to her home daycare where her homeschool, our big cousin Mike Cash said, bring all your tithes and offering into the storehouse so they'll be meeting Aunt Evelyn's house. And I proved myself. He was a kid. So he didn't really know what he was saying. But now I get why she taught us that. I get why being a giver and doing your tithes and doing your offering is important, because when you get in a pinch, you can stand on it and say, hey, God, you told me if I brought all my tithes and offering into the storehouse, there'll be meat in my house. And then you approve yourself. God, I need you to prove yourself. This on the floor. This is what I need. You told me if I did these things, then you will supply all my needs according to your riches and glory. And you so rich, you got everything I need.
Mm-hmm.
And I stand on this one. I've never seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. And so I believe that if I hold fast to those core principles, then everything else will be added. I know you asked me how you get to my business and stuff. You can check me out on Facebook, because I ain't gonna preach to y'all tonight, but I'm telling you that word got to be hid in your heart, so you won't sin against God, so you won't get the blessings that he have for you, but then you fumble them. Because so many times God bless us with everything we need. The finances, the businesses, the cars, the homes. He gives us everything we need. But then when we get those things, we forget the core values. And then you wonder why your finances start drifting down. You can't keep this, or you're trying to struggle to do that. But I believe if we stick to those core values, then everything will be added to us and we won't miss a thing. So that's why I keep going back to that, because that's what has kept me. That's what have allowed me to keep Diva Styles open. Because I remember times people would be like, I don't know how she keeping that place open. She ain't doing no hair. She ain't doing this and she ain't doing that. But get what? I'm on year 12 in the same place. I'm not sure. I'm not salon jumping. I ain't, I don't have a new space every time you book me. I'm in the same space. And that's that grace. I think William Murphy had a song and he's talked about, he's given us the same grace, that same grace. And I thank God, because it's that same grace that has kept me at 737 South Hill Street. It's that same grace that allowed me to open up Diva Styles, then Anchor Phlebotomy Institute, then Anchor Mobile Labs. Lord willing, we're going to be coming out with Batish boutique line. Well, where we're going to have pieces like bags and shirts, hats, things like that. We're not going to be a full-fledged store, nothing like that. But I believe in building generational wealth. So the Vashti line is going to be a line that derives from Bailey. That's actually her middle name, is Vashti. So comes from the book of Esther. She was a queen. And I'm the queen. She the princess now. We ain't gonna get that twisted, But yeah, so that's on the way too. So be on the lookout for that. We would love for you guys to come out and support us with that. But all of these things are being added. All of these things are being added. I believe it. So you can check us out. We have Anchor Mobile Anchor Mobile Phlebotomy page. We have Anchored Phlebotomy Institute's page. I do not quite yet have a Vashti page yet. We haven't built one yet. But we do have a Diva Style Salon page. Of course, we're on Instagram the same way. And then you can always just look me up on Nila O'Neal. I'm just simply Nila O'Neal on Facebook. So you can always DM me. I'm not one of them kind of people that be like, don't inbox me. I don't want to be bothered with no inboxes. You can inbox me. You can email me. On our cell number, on our business lines, you can also text that number and you're sure to get a text back. And so I just want everybody, don't forget, y'all, please don't forget, I still work full time. So if I don't reply back like that, please know that I'm going to reply back as soon as possible. It's my number one priority to be able to reach my consumers as soon as possible. So if I don't reply exactly when you reach out, please know that it's on the way. I'm not going to leave you hanging. I'm not going to see your message and be like, I'll text her tomorrow. None of that kind of stuff. I try to get right with my people. So again, you can find us on Facebook at Anchor Mobile Phlebotomy, Anchor Phlebotomy Institute, Diva Style Salon, and just simply Nila O'Neal. That's how you can find us.
Well, sister, like I said, I mean, I know we got to have you back one way or another, but I really truly appreciate
Absolutely.
you joining me tonight.
Yeah. Let's shoot for June. By then,
Oh,
God be gonna did some more good things, and we mid-year, mid-year, we're gonna see what he gonna do. What you say? Let's see what God gonna do. You know.
all right. So, well, look, we'll be ready for an update then. We will be ready.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being
Yeah.
with me.
Shot chill, Miracle Sims, let's go. No, I'm good, but I bet you wishing I would have a one night affair. But I won't go where you need. Cause right now you're looking so good. That's right. But is it worth the chance? Still need more than a day.
Thank you all so much for watching God, Sex, and Love. And thank you to my sis, Nila O'Neal, for joining the conversation tonight. I hope that you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and check out her and her many endeavors. All right. Have a good night.